Welcome to Florida's Galapagos. Imagine that you are taking one of those kayak rides where the water is flat like a bathtub with no wind, just a blue expanse stretching out in front of you. Also imagine that you see some islands on the horizon, coming up a ways off, right in front of you. There are no other land masses in sight. As you approach these islands, you are surprised to find many plants, several species of pine, and evidence of some wildlife. It feels like you've moved far back in time. Florida as we know it doesn't exist. Florida just consists of these sandy islands. Pull up your kayak and step onto the sandy shore. You're greeted by a flowery plant and notice a small metallic blue bee burying itself in the flowers. You've never seen a bee like this before. The plant is called Calamintha ashe, or ashes mint. And this little bee, it's called the blue calamintha bee. They are found no place else in the world. The plants and animals here share the evolutionary history of these islands. They may have been here for between 1 and 2 million years. You are in awe. You are on what will become the Lake Wales Ridge. Formed along the coast of Africa 500 million years ago, Florida emerged between 30 and 2 million years ago as islands that we now call the Lake Wales Ridge, Florida's ancient lands. This is our Galapagos. Now let's take a look at this little bee. The blue calamintha bee is an extremely rare species of mason bee, known to be found only in 2 small areas in Florida. It is known as the jewel of the ridge. Mason bees are bees in the genus Osmia, known for their use of mud or other masonry products in constructing their nest. This bee is considered critically imperiled by NatureServe, which is a research offshoot of the Nature Conservancy. This tiny bee is approximately 1/4 of an inch long with a 1/4 inch long forewing. The female has a slightly brown covering. The male has a pale blue head and mesosoma, that's the center segment, and a dark blue metasoma, that's the rear part, with some brown covering. It is a solitary bee that builds its nests underground. These unique bees have short, erect facial hairs that are used for pollen collection. When you see them in a flower, you might see them moving their heads back and forth to collect the pollen. This species is observed primarily in Florida scrub, along the southern Lake Wales Ridge, and recently in the Ocala National Forest. The majority of observations are from undeveloped land around Lake Placid. Its conservation status is listed as a species of greatest need by the Florida Wildlife Action Plan. Most of the known habitat is not protected and subject to development. It is also at risk from pesticide drift and all-terrain vehicles. Its pollen source is Clinopodium ashe and Conradina brevifolia. These bushy shrubs are native to Florida and Georgia. Clinopodium ashe is the primary pollen source. It is an aromatic shrub with about 60 to 80 occurrences. Threats to this plant include mowing, off-road vehicles, and fire suppression. Both plants have adapted to fire. As we close, think back to that moment when you stepped from your kayak onto those ancient sandy islands and saw a tiny metallic blue bee disappear into a flower. The blue calamintha bee may be small, but it tells a much larger story, one of survival, evolution, and a landscape that has existed for millions of years. The Lake Wales Ridge is Florida's living link to a distant past, and the blue calamintha bee is one of its rarest treasures. Because this bee depends on a few specialized plants and a shrinking habitat, its future is bound to the future of the ridge itself. Protecting the blue calamintha bee means protecting an entire ecosystem found nowhere else on Earth, Florida's Galapagos. If we preserve these ancient lands, future generations will still have the chance to discover the jewel of the ridge and experience a piece of Florida's natural history that has survived for millions of years.